Well, hey everyone, Simon Brook McLachlan here, coming to you from my little home studio set up here in Bronte and trialling our new Batyr at Home program. So what I wanted to do at this point is share with you the 5 tips we have at Batyr for maintaining positive mental health in your everyday lives, but also in particular at the moment during this isolation quarantine period with everything we're experiencing due to COVID-19. So the first tip I wanted to share with you is to look out. And when we talk about looking out as our first tip, we're talking about noticing the signs and symptoms that someone might exhibit. Perhaps you're exhibiting those things that could indicate to yourself or others that perhaps you're going through a mentally challenging time. Now, we've divided these into 4 categories: thoughts, feelings, behavior, and physical changes. And changes is the key word there because we're talking about changes in these attributes in your normal behavior that might continue over a period of about 2 weeks or more. Not to say that once in a while we do have a bad day, and we could have more bad days at the moment with what's going on, but if you do notice in yourself or someone else changes in thoughts, feelings, behavior or physical that are persisting over 2 weeks or more, it could indicate to you that perhaps they're going through a bit of a mentally challenging time. Now, if you do notice that, the second tip we share with you is to get talking. Now, this is often the simplest tip, but it's the thing we neglect to do the most. Now, at the moment, it is harder to see people in person. We may not have that interpersonal conversation. You may not be able to have a chat to them in the flesh. Even if you can't, pick up the phone. Send a text message, send an email, but better, just call them. And the simple act of checking in and saying, look, hey, I've noticed you've not been yourself lately. I know we organised an online chat or a Zoom conversation, didn't want to attend. You just seem a bit down. Is everything okay? And the simple act of doing that, having a conversation, getting that conversation started, may not seem like the biggest thing to you, but from the person who might be in a bit of a rough place, that can really be a beacon of light in a sea of darkness and make all the difference. So you've looked out, you've got a conversation started. The third tip we give you is to listen up. Now, when you're listening up, you have to be very, when you're listening up, you have to be very conscious that when you're listening to what someone's going through, you're not there to necessarily provide solutions. You're not there to solve all the problems of what they're going through. You're just there to listen. And maybe you've had one of those days where you think, I just want to get something off my chest. I just want to have a vent. I just need to kind of say things, get them out there. And a lot of cases, by doing that, you feel a lot better. So the idea of listening up is to be there, be a sounding board for someone, and err on the side of empathy as opposed to sympathy. Listen to what they've got to say, try and put yourselves in their shoes, and just be there to say, that sounds really tough. Wow, if I was in your position, I'd be finding that difficult as well. So use that of empathy in listening up. Now, we've had these great conversations, which is fantastic. Sometimes you might find, however, that someone does open up to you and tell you something that's a little bit more confronting, a bit more serious, and you think, well, as supportive a friend as I can be, maybe this needs to go to the next level. So the 4th tip we share with you is to reach out. Now, due to current quarantine regulations, make sure you keep a distance when you are reaching out. And if you're going to reach out over there and pick up maybe one of these. Now, these are our 5 tips on a Batyr card. We'll get rid of that right now. On the back of one of these cards, and this is a bit of a scabby old one from a Sydney University program, we have a bunch of our reach out services we recommend you use at Batyr. A quick one to touch on, obviously a phone service is Lifeline, 13 11 14. It's a 24-hour crisis prevention service. It's a hotline. You can call them, have a chat. There's qualified professionals there. Another one you might have heard of is Headspace. Now, Headspace have these wonderful drop-in centres which are unfortunately closed due to the current pandemic. However, eHeadspace has never been a better place to turn to for mental health support. You can have the same service consultations with psychologists, GPs, psychiatrists for any sort of mental health challenges you're experiencing in an online sense. Back and forth with messages, emails, even pick up the phone, they're there as well. Your GP, if you do have a chance to see your GP and it's not kind of violating the quarantine regulations, you can go and have a conversation with your GP, but perhaps pick up the phone first in those instances. There's a few other reach out services, reachout.com, the Butterfly Foundation, a whole host of them. We'll put them at the bottom of the screen and you can check those out as well. So that was our 4th tip, which is to reach out. The final tip I wanted to share with you guys is to take charge. And this has never been more important than the current climate we find ourselves in, because a lot of what we normally do in our lives has been taken away from us. And I'm the first to admit that I've really struggled during this period. I found it really difficult to switch off. really difficult to maintain motivation, and really difficult not to kind of end up in these negative spirals. And you'll see over there on my right is my collection of surfboards, which haven't seen the water for nearly a month because they closed the beaches. So that was one of my take charge things, was to go surfing. So I've struggled with that. I've lost swimming as something I could do. However, it's up to you to find things in quarantine that you can do that you enjoy, that give you a break from your daily routine and allow you to take charge. It could be something as simple as reading. At the moment, I'm working myself through the watch buying guide of 2020. From now, there's watches from 200 to 100,000. So you can pick your budget there. You may be into, bit of this. Yeah. Bit of online gaming. Yep. Always good for the mental health. Get out there, have a social thing, have a chat with your mates. Good way to get out there. Perhaps you're a budding musician. I'm a saxophone player, I'm a singer, I'm a keyboard player. Just pull out the old horns. Make some music, share some music, learn an instrument. Whatever the case may be, if it's reading, writing, cooking, knitting, making Play-Doh, whatever the case may be, find something for you that is a way of taking charge of your positive mental health. So those 5 tips again: look out, get talking, listen up, reach out, take charge. There are 5 tips from Batyr, the big blue elephant. I'm Simon Brook McLachlan. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll see you for some more Batyr at home content. Ciao for now.